Hopefully the camera is straight. I guess I'll find out in editing. Hi and welcome back to the FreeFormKnits YouTube channel. I'm Haxann Evers, a knit and crochet who's free from ways of crafting have led to the world of design. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. All the links to anything I talk about can be found below this video, as well as links to my Instagram, my Ravelry, my blog, all that stuff. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any future videos. I upload every Tuesdays and Fridays, and there's always new, exciting, crafty things to talk about. We are podcast episode 39, I think. As always, I don't remember the number, but I'm coming to you exactly a week later, so I seem to have a somewhat of a schedule going, and I have quite a bit to talk about, so we'll just get right into it. First off, what I am wearing. I am wearing my dream sweater by Claudia Q. She designed this, I believe, for Unit 2, a yarn shop, and there was like a big knit-along and stuff. I didn't participate in knit-along. Well, I participated in spirit, so you know. But it's a bottom-up sweater with this texture and color work. I think you've seen it on the podcast quite a few times. It's one of my favorites, but I'm actually going to take it off because it's actually warmer than expected, which is nice. So I'm gonna take this off. Okay, quick costume change, but that's the sweater. This is made out of 100% acrylic yarn. The brown is I Love This yarn, and then the pink is Yarn Beat ID in the Rosewater colorway, which is actually not 100% acrylic. It's a blend of acrylic and polyamide, but I can't remember the exact percentages. So, but that's what I was wearing. But I'm now taking off because it's warm in the basement. So I do actually have some finished objects, and the first finished object I finished a long time ago but didn't show because I was filming a video to go with it, and it is the video I actually released this Tuesday on my channel, a crochet with me vlog style video of this toy Mermaid. So I crocheted her. That whole video is about me crocheting this pattern. This was a free pattern by Winding Rose Crochet, I believe. If I'm wrong, it'll be on the screen either way. And the link to the pattern and that video will be in the description box below. But I talk all about her in the video. You can follow along with the process of me making her. She's got a few modifications to her because it wouldn't be something made by me if I didn't mess with the pattern in some way. But I really love her. And her hair, I talk about in the video. I held 2 strands of DK for her hair. The rest of her I did in worsted weight, but I held 2 strands of DK for her hair, and this marled yarn is what inspired my next finished object that I started and finished before in between podcasts, so you haven't even seen it as a work in progress. But I just wanted to show her, and if you want to hear more about her and the whole process, then you can watch the video. But I did finish this a while ago and wanted to show it here. Really love her. Really fun. I've been wanting to make this pattern for a long time, so I'm glad I finally got around to that. But her hair is what inspired my next work in progress. So how this work in progress came about, or this finished object actually, because it's finished, I wanted to make a hat, and I was thinking about how much I wanted to make a hat and looking at my basket of whips that I always have near me and thinking about how I should really work on one of those, but I really want to make a hat, and trying to talk myself out of making a hat when I came across in my feed, Amy Kate of the Graceful Tangle had just released a pattern, and it is her Falling Leaves beanie, I believe. That's what it's called. Falling Leaves beanie. And she had it free for the day. And I saw this pattern and I was like, well, now I have to make a hat. It's been decided for me. It's all come together. So I made her hat pattern, the Falling Leaves beanie. And I wanted to hold this. I loved the effect I got with her hair and how it worked up and how it looked, and really wanted a hat in that. And so I was really happy to find a pattern. I was really originally just going to do a plain beanie, but I saw her pattern, thought it all came together, and it's just this really fun chevron-y knit purl texture. There's a little bit of mistake here. I hadn't realized when working the pattern that you were supposed to do every row twice. So it's a little bit smaller here. I think her pattern is written for DK, but I held 2 DK. I held like DK double-stranded, so it's actually more of a worsted bulky. I just messed with the numbers and basically made my own size. So, you know, I followed the stitch pattern, but not anything else in the pattern. Actually no, I did do her decreases, which I wasn't sure I wanted to do because it's kind of a rapid decrease, but it does keep the patterning itself very well, so I like that. The yarn I used is Yarn Bee Sweet Delight in the Pinkaboo, and I can't remember the other colorway, but just this light and dark pink held together, and it's a blend of acrylic and polyamide again. I really should have the ball bands here, but I don't. But you've seen this yarn before. If you follow along on the podcast, you've seen me talk about this, and the shadows on my face, which must be annoying. I'm actually gonna close this. This is what I keep. I try to keep everything I talk about the podcast in this basket. So I had that open, but I'm gonna close that because my shadow basement lighting stuff, shadows everywhere. Anyway, this is the beanie. I really like it, and it's quite, I think I made it a bit longer than ours in the pattern. I wanted it a little bit more slouched, so I think I achieved that effect, you know, without checking gauge or row gauge or comparing it to anything. I don't know. I just make it up as I go, but I really do like this pattern. Very nice, very quick. Got it done. Did I get it done in a day? I think I did. So I used a 10. For worsted weight hats, I usually use a 9, US 9, which is a 5.5mm. I went up to a 6mm US 10, just because I was holding DK double. I probably could have gotten away with a 9, but I like the fabric I got. So very pretty, very nice. Oh, and I did 1x1 rib instead of twisted rib. I don't think I can make, have I made any pattern that I haven't hacked in some way? I don't know, but I really love this hat. It's very pretty. I do think it needs a pom-pom. I'm not strictly a pom-pom person. I'm not strictly not a pom-pom person. I think it all depends on the hat. And this one tells me it needs a white pom-pom. So I might hold out and see if I can find a faux fur white pom-pom, or I might use some white yarn and stash and make one. But my yarn pom-poms tend to fall apart. I don't know. I think I don't make them tight enough, you know, when you tie them. But I don't know. I think this might need a pom-pom. Undecided. Jury's still out, but yeah, it's very nice and I like it. Yep, it's a very nice quick project. It made me want to make a bunch of more hats, which, considering I could make another hat, I could, you know, the whips allow it. I kind of, in the past, I've always been not strictly monogamous. I like to have a good variety of whips. Like, I don't want to have too many of the same whip. Like, I don't want multiple sweaters on my needle. I don't want multiple hats. But I don't have a hat on the needles, so why not make another one? I think there was a hat I wanted to make. I don't know. I always forget. Like, my stash is down here in the basement. And when I'm anywhere else in the house, I think, oh, I wish I were down in my stash right now so I could cast this project on. Then I get to my stash, and I don't recall what that project I wanted to cast on was, so I think there was another hat I wanted to make, and I can't remember it. Oh well. Finished object number 2. And finished object number 3 is very small, but I wanted to make it nonetheless. It is just a simple dishcloth. Double crochet square dishcloth with double crochet edging all around it. And I need to make dishcloths. I need to make more dishcloths. I have a meager cotton stash, but I want to use it up, and I want bigger dishcloths like this. I usually, when I make dishcloths, will make you know, just that simple dishcloth everyone makes, the increase, you increase back down. I think there's a pattern, there are a couple patterns like it. It's just like a recipe, but I think the most common one people refer to is Grandma's Favorite Dishcloth by PJ Allen. I don't follow that. I just have always, like, I think I followed it's just a recipe, basically, dishcloth pattern that you can find. You can do it with holes, without holes. That's what I usually do. But the problem with that one is that I will increase to my widest point and decide I'm done, and then increase back down, and my dishcloths always end up to be the same small size, especially since the cotton will shrink over time. So crocheting, I worked up faster, and yet I can still get it bigger. And I love how this cotton worked up. It's just I love this cotton in, I don't know the colorway. The ball band was here, and now it is not. But it's just not, I love this cotton, 100% cotton, and really pretty. It's funny, because I've always knit my dishcloths, usually knit my dishcloths, so it's fun to see how the cotton works up in double crochet, just in crochet in general. So that's a finished object. Small, but you know, I do want to make more dishcloths. Use up my con stash. Have dishcloths, big dishcloths around. Moving on into works in progress. I'll give a little update on the Cameo Cardigan from last episode. So last episode I talked about how I made a huge mistake all the way back on this side-to-side cardigan. I made a huge mistake on the first shoulder panel. I just didn't line it up right. You're supposed to slip stitch the panels together evenly, and I did not do that, so I had to basically rip back the whole cardigan, which I did, and I did redo it. So I'm further than I was last time. It looks the same to you. I ripped back. I didn't bother trying to slip stitch it again because I wasn't going to make the same mistake again. I just seamed it when I was done with it, and I started the sleeve. Now, I have, first of all, I knew when ripping back I should do more rows for the back. The cardigan fits. It just doesn't fit me as I would like it to fit. Like in a cardigan, I want it to be a bit more roomy than this is. So I knew I should have added more rows in the back. I didn't, because at that point I was done with it. I just didn't want to, I just wanted to get back to where I was essentially. So I didn't do those rows, which I should have. And then I was doing the sleeve and I changed the sleeve pattern. They had you decreasing one stitch on, like you alternate between doing double crochet and single crochet rows. They had you decreasing one stitch on a double crochet row and then one stitch on a single crochet row. I changed that to just doing 2 decreases on one row and then having a break round. And I'm decreasing. And I think this is the pattern that I mentioned. The gauge was kind of weird, written weird, so I don't even know if I'm on gauge. I'm probably not. But my sleeve is tight, even though I stopped decreasing. Like I should have decreased more according to pattern, but my sleeve is tight. And you know, as I'm working on the sleeve, I finished the body, I picked up the sleeve, and then I put it down. And this is actually where this marker is what I did today. I did all this today, trying to convince myself to work on it. And as I've been working on it, I've been thinking to myself, you know, this doesn't really fit me. I'm probably not gonna be happy with it. I'll just give it to my sister because, you know, she's expressed she likes how the colors look. But as I'm working on it more, I'm thinking, I don't even know if this will fit her comfortably, if she'll like how this fits. So I thought I'll give it to my younger sister, who's, you know, she's a lot younger than me and my other sister, so it'll definitely fit her. But I'm thinking, you know, she's already got a lot of sweaters that don't fit us right. And the more I'm thinking about it, the more thinking, I'm trying to think of reasons to finish this, realizing I don't really want to finish it. I don't want it anymore. Like all that was going through my head, Meg from Bad Wolf Girl Sits and Knits, like she says, if it's not yes, it's no. And it's not yes. It's no. It's a no for me. I don't want to work on it. I'm not motivated to work on it. It's not going to fit me. I'm not happy with it. It's not the pattern's fault. It's my fault for messing the pattern up. I made too many mistakes. I've done too many mistakes, and this has happened to me before, where I find a pattern, I'm really excited about the pattern. I don't do my due diligence before the pattern and catching errors sooner, and just, you could have seen it coming with this project. All the things went wrong. And I think I'm gonna frog the whole thing. So I made a cardigan, basically made a whole cardigan, ripped out the whole cardigan, remade it, only to decide that I don't want to remake it. I'm done. Yeah, that's how I craft. That's how I do it. It's a very nice cardigan. I think I would be more in love with it if I did the collar first, but I've already mentioned I'm not gonna have enough. I'm gonna have to do a contrasting color for the collar, which I already knew, but the back panel, it doesn't fit me right. And I think I'm just better off ripping it out and saving the yarn for a sweater project I know I'm gonna love. Or I'm gonna love until I make the pattern, mess it up, and remake it and then rip it out again. Whatever, it's just crafting, right? We can rip it out and no harm done. No harm, no foul, you know. Though I did seam these sweater seams, so I'm gonna have fun picking that out. I'm gonna frog it. I don't know when I'm gonna frog it, but the yarn I'm using is Yarn Bee Soft and Sleek Low Pill Fiber in the purple gray multi colorway, and there's just 100% low pill acrylic yarn. But that's the label. I was using a 5.5mm hook, which hopefully is safely put away because that's like one of my favorite hooks. But yeah, that's an update on this project. I'm just gonna frog it. But I redid the whole cardigan. A lot of my crafting time went into this. It's a fun pattern. It's a fun pattern. It would be really nice if, you know, I made it the right way. It is a very pretty pattern. It's a lot of fun to do. I really love going back and forth in these rows, and the yarn, just the way it stripes, and then having it be these stripes. It's really nice. So nothing against the pattern. It's all me. All me. Another failed sweater rip. You know, I'm at this point, you know, we're coming to the end of November, start of December, and then inevitably the new year. At the beginning of every year, I kind of get into this want to, you know, like journal and log things, which inevitably fades throughout the year, and I'm glad that it fades, because I don't think if I had kept track of all my knits, kept like a tally like some people do, I don't know how many sweater fails would be in that, and I'm glad I'm not keeping track of that, because how many times has this happened to me where a sweater doesn't turn out the way I want and I frog it? Like, I can think of 3 off the top of my head, and that's only in the past 2 or 3 months. So I'm glad I'm not logging that. Oh well, just gonna put this aside, and it'll eventually be frogged. I'm trying to push that out of frame because I find it distracting. It's not going out of frame. There we go. Hopefully the camera setup is okay. I hope it's not crooked. I hope I'm not too far away. I hope it's right. Yeah. Hope a lot of things. Okay, moving on. I'm not torn up about that not turning out. I don't even feel upset that I put all that time into it. I feel good with my decision. I'm not happy with it, and that's okay. I'm not happy with it. It's supposed to, I don't want to do it. I'm not gonna be happy with the finished project, so why finish it? I'm just gonna frog it, keep the yarn for something else, and frogging it will actually be really easy because you can't see it. It's on the other side. But I got a ball winder, and I haven't had a ball winder in so long. I'll actually next week on my channel will be coming a Knit Picks haul. I ordered yarn from Knit Picks. You can actually see some of it in that cubby. I ordered some yarn and some tools, one of them being a ball winder, and I'm so happy to have a ball winder. I haven't had a ball winder in at least 2 years, possibly more, because I broke my last one. If you want longevity out of your ball winders, and even not, that ball winder lasted me so long, considering what I did to it. I would wind heavy skeins of yarn, over 200 grams of yarn at a time, worsted weight, on a poor little plastic ball winder. That was the little ball winder that could. So for years I did that, and it finally it said go on without me. Just a little piece of it broke. But anyway, all that to say, I got a new ball winder. I'm gonna treat it nicely so I'll even get even more years out of it. But yeah, so frogging that shouldn't be a problem. I'll have neat cakes of yarn instead of haphazardly winded up yarn chucked back into my shelf. Okay, where were we? Works in progress. Let's talk about a sweater that is going well. So my SouthWood pullover by a pattern by Galt House of Yarn. This was on a stall for a really long time because I didn't want to make the sleeve. I didn't trust the sleeve instructions, not because I doubted that they were right, but because I don't trust how sleeves turn out. I've talked about this before. The way I'm built, I just feel like I need to do some accommodating from, especially for top-down raglans, just so I don't end up with a bunch of fabric under my underarm. So I'm always hesitant about that, but this sweater was supposed to be an oversized, perfect pullover kind of thing. So we're going to do the sleeve to pattern, but I couldn't get over that, just all these things. But eventually I sat down, forced myself to work on it, and the first sleeve felt like it slogged, but really I got it done in an evening and a morning. I got the first sleeve done, and I love how it looks. It's actually perfect. So I don't know what my problem was. Perfect. And in that same day, I got the second sleeve done. So I don't know why I think not even Sleeve Island. Sleeve don't make me go there, but then they fly. Especially the second one flies. The first one is this mental battle to even work on it, and then the second one, literally, same day, flew off the needles. I was actually, can you believe this? I was actually sad when it ended. I was like, I want to make another sleeve, which led to me picking up that cardigan and come to the conclusion that its demise needs to approach. But anyway, happy with the sleeves. I think they're perfect. I haven't tried the sweater on, which sounds dangerous, I know. I should have, especially, but I think the sleeve is going to be the perfect length, especially since my sweaters tend to grow. I find machine washing and drying them, they 100% acrylic, they do grow and soften and everything. So even if the sleeve once put on, but I think it'll be perfect actually. Yeah. Anyway, and I have all these markers on it because that's a trick to make sleeves fly. You mark everything. Mark where your starting round is, mark where you've done doing that straight knitting, and then mark every decrease, and then mark it again, mark everything. And then when you make the second sleeve, you don't have to keep measuring and counting. You can just pluck your markers off and put them on the second one, and when you run out of markers, you know you've run out of sleeve to knit. Makes it fly. Anyway, I'm knitting this out of I Love This Yarn 100% acrylic Arctic Ice colorway. And all I have is half a body to knit. Not even half a body. Less than half a body. That's where my last skein ended. And I am gonna finish off Pretty Cake of Yarn, finish off this skein in the body before I probably need to break into my last skein. So, but that's all there is just very nice vanilla knitting. Probably just need to put a movie on and finish it off. I'm using my Knit Picks nickel plated interchangeable needles, US 9s, 5.5mm. So, it's perfect, love it, can't wait to, I'm motivated to finish this now. So I can wear it, obviously. It's too big to fit in a project bag, so I just have the yarn in here. This little project bag, it actually matches the yarn, the blue. And that's all there is to say about that. Work in progress. So my next two work in progress, we'll actually talk about a crochet one. So also in my Knit Picks haul is this book, which I've been wanting for so long, and I finally got it. It is Unicorns and Dragons and More Fantasy Amigurumi. And it is full of beautiful amigurumis. I love it. Love it so much. I am making, I first was originally thought I would make the one on the cover. That's what I wanted to make first. But then I opened the book and fell even more in love with literally all the patterns in here. I love them all. Like seriously. So I'm thinking of setting myself the crazy goal in the coming year to make this whole book within that year. Because I need to make them all. So I decided to just start and make the first one in the book, which is the Loch Ness Monster. I'm making that. And I started it, and I got in the book, I believe they're all made out of fingering weight. I think. I didn't check gauge, obviously. So I may just make it out of worsted, because that's what I make all my amigurumi out of. Worsted yarn, either a 5mm or a 4.5mm hook, because it goes faster and it makes the toys a really nice size. And I think these toys are going to be so big and it's going to be so great. This is Nessie's head. Look at this. Look at it. Isn't it great? This would be such a good sized stuffed animal. I love it. So a lot of fun shaping going on. You start here and you did all this shaping and you got these little nostrils, you know, for her. Oh, it's so great. And I have my markers here. Something about eyes to put here. They call her safety eyes, but I'm probably not going to do that because I don't think I can get the safety eyes that like similar to what they used in the pattern. So I'll probably end up like, she's got a lot of parts to her. Nessie, a lot of detail. Like you have to make her spots and her flippers and all this facial stuff. So I'll probably have to figure out something to do for her eyes. So the markers are here just to help me, but I'll rig something up. The yarn I'm using is actually the same as I was using. I know it's the same line, Yarn V Soft and Sleek Global Fiber in this like self-straping multi colorway, but I don't know which colorway. It's just these blues, and I love how it's spiraling up. I was a little worried about how it's when I started. I was a little worried about how it would pull, but it's working out great. Like, she's got this big patch on the back of her head, and depending on, I'm torn if I want to start with this and like, because I have to like make a piece for her neck before I do the body separately and then sew them together. So I'm torn about, maybe I wind this off and finish her neck off with a different color, or I keep it. I don't think it really will matter. I think it'll be great either way, but I love it. It's so fun. I did the head and I put it down for a little bit because I need to make that decision about what piece to do next, because I'm not sure what I'll use for her contrasting stuff, like her scales and everything. Probably just a blue or a white. I don't know. So I need to think about that. So I haven't been working on it lately, but I want to do it, and I just love it so much. I love this book. Oh, I love crochet amigurumi. I love it. A good crochet amigurumi pattern. That's key. It's so great. It's such great different constructions, and when it's easily explained, it's so great. And literally, look at all of them. They're just so, I love them all. I saw on Cozy Up Knits, like they had the same book, and Cozy Up Knits, a knitting podcast, the sister Katie, she made him, and she did the same thing. She used acrylic, like worsted weight acrylic yarn and stuff, and he turned out so big because of her gauge, and I just can't wait. It'll be so great. So that's what another work in progress I'm working on, and need to find contrasting colors and just whip it up. I'll probably need stuffing because I don't think I have enough stuffing for how big this is going to be, and especially if I want to make all the characters, so I'll need to stock up on that eventually. Alright, and the last work in progress is a sock, but not just any sock. It's a fingering weight sock, which I haven't knit in so long. A fingering weight sock. So I am just making, to ease myself back into it, just a plain vanilla sock out of Knit Picks Static, which is their, not their self-striping, self-patterning line. And I'm loving it. I was really torn about whether or not I wanted to make a pair of socks in Static, because as much as I found it cool, the self-patterning, I didn't know if I would like, figure out where to place the heel and everything. But I think it'll be okay. I really love how I got this big portion of patterning right at the top. I think that looks great. And it's a little unpredictable what's coming next. I don't know if I'm gonna get another big patch like this. That makes me wonder if I should do like just a tube and then place my heels strategically in a contrasting color, or just embrace the unpredictability of it and place my heel wherever. I don't know. If I do an afterthought heel, I'll have to do an afterthought heel. Well, no, I can. I've done before my shortcut heel as an afterthought method. It's just a bit of a hassle. So I don't know. But I do love it. I'm almost done with the leg. I have maybe less than 10 rounds now? I don't know. This marker's marking 32 rounds. I do 64 rounds for my leg, because that's what I have to do for my foot. So it makes it nice and square. Nice and rectangular-ish, but So that's that. This is the colorway, I think Boulder. I think that's the colorway, Knit Picks Static in the Boulder color. So I had to wind this by hand because I'm not a Swift, and it came in a hank. That's why it's not a pretty cake, but it's really nice. And it's been nice to work on a fingering weight sock. I haven't worked with it, fingering weight yarn, fingering weight gauge, in so long. It's been nice. Really love the feel of it. They'll be such nice socks. And I make my socks on a US 2, which is a 2.75 millimeter needle. These are my Chowgu red lace needles in the 40-inch cord. So I need to decide, I need to make a decision on all my projects really. The amigurumi toy, the heel, whether or not I'm going to make another hat. I need to make all these decisions. I should probably do that so I don't not knit all day because I haven't made any decisions. Or I just need to cast on new things, whichever one, whichever comes first. Put that back in. This is my sock knitting bag. I want to make more bags of this size. I love it. Just a little project bag I sewed. It's got this handle with the tape measure on it. Yep. Does anyone else, I keep in my sock knitting bag, I keep bandages in my sock knitting bag because the needles are sharp, and if I work on them, I flick my yarn. So, and just the way I knit in general, I use my fingertips to push the needles down, and the needles are so sharp that I'll inevitably end up cutting my finger. Like I haven't gotten it in a long time because I haven't been knitting socks a long time, but I'll get a cut on the side of my finger. Usually, more often with fingering weight yarn, with sock knitting in general, but like that sweater with my big needles, I'll cut my finger, so I have bandages on hand. Knitting is dangerous. This is what they meant. It's not sitting on knitting needles that's dangerous. It's knitting with them. You gotta be prepared. I think that's everything I have to talk with you about for this episode. If you could take a moment to comment down below something you are working on, I would love to hear about it. And I guess I'll see you next time. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. And that's it. Happy crafting!